Hey y'all, it's Natalie, and I have a layout doing double duty today. I have created this page for the signature style hop that my friend Sarah Scrap is hosting this summer, but I'm also using a lot of my SpiegelMom scrap sequins. So my signature style includes a lot of mixed media, and I feel like I haven't been doing a lot of mixed media lately, so I decided to go for it today. So I have pulled out an old 6x6 paper pad, this pink paisley paper pad that it's kind of like boyish and fun, and I thought that I would use it to create a layout of my youngest son playing video games. So I have that really cool video game controller cut file that I got from Paige Evans for free on her Facebook group. And I have backed it with some papers from the paper pad, and then I'm going to use some sequins to fill in the blanks as well. But before I do that, I'm gonna make my background. So I have plain white cardstock with clear gesso, and I'm defining my space first with water, and then I'm using some potted watercolors to add to the watered space, and then I'm gonna go in and spray additional water and kind of swirl it around my page here. So I'm just kind of getting a splash of blue and lime green on the background in the center of the page is the look I'm going for here. So I have a few different blues. So I did a swatch of this one, and then I'm going to do a different shade of blue over here on the right. And because it's all blue here at first, it's fine if everything kind of like runs together and blends together, because it's all blue, right? And there's just the third color that I chose. I think that one is a Heidi Swap Shine. But again, it's watercolors. They're all watercolors. The more water you add, the more diluted they become. And I'm just using my finger to kind of help the shapes be a little more organic and less like a streak of water. So I let it dry, or mostly dry here, and I'm liking that blue. So now I'm going to go in with some lime green, which is the color of some of those other papers, and this bottle gets clogged a lot. So I'm actually going to just pour a little bit into the top so it can be treated kind of like another potted watercolor. So I'm going to predefine my space. So this just kind of like tells the watercolor where I want it to go, and it doesn't just like go wherever it wants on the page. It does end up spreading out a little bit and going across the blue, but first of all, a lot of it is going to be covered up by the cut file, but second of all, they're not going to make a big mess if they blend, and since the blue is already dry, it's not going to blend too much, and I don't mind if the green goes on the blue because it looks good in my opinion. So it kind of created three different spots just around the blue section of watercolor here, and I'm just using my heat gun to dry it off, and I'm going to set it aside to dry. I'm going to finish up my controller. So I have SpiegelMom Scraps clear acetate sheet and I made a little circle into each of those little circles on the controllers, and then so I'm going to stick that down with tearaway tape first. And then I'm going to build up at another level with the foam tape, and I'm going to go all the way around the circle with the foam tape. And then I'm using the star, really teeny silver star sprinkles of sequins are going to go into those two circles on the controller. So I go ahead and remove all of the foam tape backing. Because if I were to try to do that once I filled it up, all the sequins would probably go everywhere, right? So I'm gonna, I've peeled the backing off, careful not to get too many sequins stuck to the open adhesive. And then I smush down another piece of clear acetate to kind of sandwich in those sequins, and then have a little shaker. So I'm gonna do that on both sides of the controller here. So cute. And I'm going to link down below with my affiliate link if you would like to go grab your own sequin set from the store. That is still in stock, and some of the sets that you'll see me use in a little bit are also in stock. So I'm just finishing up drying the watercolor background, and I'm going to add in some splatters, and I feel like splatters really do a good job of adding a level of dimension to the watercolor. So I did make sure that the page dried first though, because if you add splatters onto a background that's already wet, they're just going to dissolve into the background and they're not going to show up. So this really allows them to add like another layer. So I try to keep like mostly the blue on the blue and the green on the green. And then I let it sit for a few minutes. I didn't show that, but I let it sit to like let the color saturate, and then I just rolled it up and it's good to go. But one more thing before I get started putting the layout together is I have this Nuvo Glacier paste, and it is in a silver glitter, and I'm gonna add water to it, and I'm gonna use that to add all over the background as well. Just a ton of really nice silver splatters. And so I chose this one because I used the silver stars in the cut file, in the shaker part of my cut file. So I wanted to use silver on the page and accentuate with that. And I'm loving how that looks. Love, love, love. And you can see all the shiny shimmer on all the background color. So I also chose some white and silver thickers. And I'm going to put the cut file there in the middle of the page. And then I edited my photos to kind of have like an orangey tinge to them. So I feel like they go really well with the collection that I chose to use and all the colors. These foam dots are from SpiegelMom scraps as well, and I love the little tabby. It's really easy to pull off. So I filled up my cut file with all of those and pulled them off, and now that just gives an extra level of dimension to my background. And I like that some of the cut file was left without backing, so you can see the background through it. I like that a lot. So I backed my photos in some white cardstock, and I also put some foam tape on those parts that aren't touching the cut file, so they will be on the same level as the cut file. But I decided that a little bit of the green needed to be peeking out below the photo, so I just used my paintbrush to add that in. I'm going to add the title, and the title is Playa on Playa. Because it's a picture of my son playing video games, and he's just now kind of getting into them, and so he hangs with his brother and his brother's friends really well playing video games now that he can like read and stuff, and has a little more coordination. He can hold his own with them. And so now I am using additional SpiegelMom scrap sequins to kind of like embellish my controller, so as though they are like little buttons and stuff. And so some of those are from Gladiola Springs, I think, or Gladiola Fields is the name of the collection. And then I just pulled a few others that are just from like random bags of sequins that I just wanted to combine them to kind of match all of the colors that I have in the background. I think the green ones came from like a really old Christmas collection. And there's like little tiny blue ones, and there were 4 little tiny dots there on the cut file, so I decided to cover those up with the 4 tiny sequins. And I'll go ahead and tell you too that this is a hop. Everybody that's completing this hop is like using their own signature style, and it's been going on all summer, hosted by my friend Sarah, and it's so fabulous, and everybody does like their best work because they're doing their own signature style, right? So definitely check out those. I'm going to link those down below as well. So I'm using the same orange cardstock that I used to cut the cut file, and I'm going to use it to just embellish the sides of this page, just to give a couple of little peaks of orange out on either side to kind of give a little look of cohesion between the edges of the page and the orange on the cut file. And I really roughed up the edges really a whole lot. And one of them, I even did it a little too much, and I have to go in and add like a, use my tiny attacher to kind of like control it a little bit. But I'm really liking the way that looks. Of course, I really love a good distressed look. So I'm just covering up some adhesive that was naked and out there. We don't want any naked adhesive. That's no good, right? So I'm finishing up that embellishment on each end, and I'm just going to go through my die cuts and add a few more bits and pieces, and we'll be done. I think these are from either Citrus Twist kits or from Pink Fresh Studio, but I was able to find some die cuts that kind of go along with the video game theme. Right there, I am trying out my pen. I actually didn't add my journaling until after I took pictures though. So disregard the orange pen, but it worked really well over the blue watercolor. Gel pens are the way to go with journaling, in my opinion, on top of mixed media. So here I have the die cuts I was speaking of, and I'm just going to sprinkle them around, and I'd end up not using all of them because some of them are kind of bigger than I want, and I don't want to detract from the cut file that I worked so hard on and the title and the photos. So I just want a few things that are just going to enhance the page. So I use that one that says yes, and that little controller is so perfect and cute. And you know what? He's playing the Switch, and this is like clearly an Xbox controller, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Although it'll probably matter to them someday. They'll probably be looking at it and be like, Mom, I was not playing Xbox. But for me, it doesn't matter because it tells the story. So I like to add that yes on top. I popped it up with a little bit of foam tape, and it says yes, play on, Playa, and a couple of other things. The one at the bottom says I'd rather be gaming. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hop along in the signature style hop. There's so much good inspiration. Check out my link to SpiegelMom Scraps if you would like to go grab your own sequin mixes. I think she's about to put a whole bunch of new ones in the store, so check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Bye y'all.